Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, I'm KingNido, and today we're coming to you from Viridian City, where the Magma have had a very strange start to the season, suffering an unfortunate defeat in round 1, but putting on an absolute dominating display in round 2, so we'll see how they can go today, as they are going up against the Ula Macros, who have also had an odd start to the season, because they have yet to get a victory, and that is very weird for the Steel types. So with that said, let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win this matchup. Will it be the ground types? Will it be the steel types? Let's go!
3, 2, 1, go!
And it is going to be Golok and Clodseye starting out for the Magma as the fiery dance from Golok, super effective onto Metang, who is joined by Bastiodon. Metang is going to respond though with the Rock Throw, which unfortunately is not very effective onto Golok. Bastiodon looking to follow it up though with the Worry Seed. They're getting that no guard off of Golok nice and early. They don't want to have to contend with a potential fissure from the Part Ghost type, who now has that Insomnia ability. Clodseye is going to go with the Leafage. This is going to be resisted by Metang, and Golok with the follow-up going for the Rock Polish here. It is going to boost that speed a great deal, although it's already the quickest on the field. Metang setting up the light screen on the side of the Ula Macros, making them stronger against special moves. Now the Magma are much more of a physical side, as it's the payback from Bastiodon. Super effective there onto Golok, a fantastic connection, but it's the Dragon Hammer in response by Clodseye that does not do much at all there to Bastiodon. Golok though looking to do its part, is going for the Yawn on to Bastiodon. They want this highly defensive Pokemon to fall asleep, as it does grow drowsy. Metang with the Darkest Lariat takes Golok out of this matchup with those back-to-back super effective moves to eliminate the Part Ghost type. Bastiodon looking to follow up, goes for the triple kick, doing very little damage here to Clodseye with that first connection as well as the second connection, and with that third one it still continues to do very little to the Part Poison type, even with that critical play on that third hit, as Clodseye is going to go for the Thunder Shock, doing practically nothing to Bastiodon. And now it is Donphan joining Clodseye. Metang though with the Acid Armor here, it is going to boost that physical defense a great deal. Donphan going for its first move of the match, goes for the conversion too. It's going to get rid of its ground typing, and it becomes a poison type. It won't be able to capitalize on that against the steel type team, as it is that poison type move onto Clodseye from Bastiodon. Not very effective, but the Meteor Mash in response onto Bastiodon doesn't do much damage. However, it does boost that physical attack of Clodseye, as Bastiodon has finally fallen asleep. Metang having to do the heavy lifting, going with the Sweet Scent here onto the side of the Viridian Magma, lowering their evasiveness, making them much easier targets for the Ula Macros, as the poison type Donphan going with the Payday, trying to make that money, but that does very little there to that sleeping Bastiodon, who is still snoozing away there on the field. Clodseye could capitalize here as it goes with the String Shot, not going on the offensive. Instead it is going to greatly lower the speed of both Metang and Bastiodon. Sorry, but Metang has that clear body, so it's not going to work on that, as the lock on from Donphan onto the sleeping Bastiodon. Metang does go, however, for the ally switch, trading places with Bastiodon there on the field, as Clodseye is going to go for the Thunder Fang, getting a little bit of good chip damage there onto the now awake Bastiodon, allowing it to respond with the Headlong Rush. And some massive super effective damage, but it does lower its own physical and special defense that are 168 and 138 respectively, as Donphan is going to set up for the Solar Beam. It will be absorbing light on this turn. The Macros could capitalize here, as Metang going for the dive. It is going to hide underwater, and this will be super effective on Clodseye, but not the poison type Donphan. The Smart Strike from Clodseye, not so smart, because it does go for Metang, and this opens the door for Bastiodon to go for the Bullet Punch onto Clodseye, putting it into knockout range, as the dive is going to finish Clodseye off, and that is 2 Pokemon now down from the Viridian Magma, as the Ula Macros are building this lead. And Donphan is going to be able to finish off that Solar Beam, which Bastiodon, even with those low defenses, is able to hang on, setting up another light screen on the side of the Ula Macros once again, making them stronger against special moves. It is Mudsdale coming out for the Viridian Magma, as the Wood Hammer from Metang is not very effective on the poison type Donphan. It does get a bit of recoil damage in the process, as Donphan is going to go for the Struggle Bug, and this will finally take Bastiodon down and out of this matchup as the Magma finally get one on the board. It's followed up by Mudsdale going with the close combat, but that Psychic typing prevents it from being super effective, lowering its own defenses. Does Mudsdale, Metang able to hang on, and it is now being joined by Skarmory. Skarmory immediately going with the Victory Dance, feeling very confident for the macros right now, boosting that attack, boosting that defense. It's going to boost that speed as well, but it's already the quickest on the field. As Metang looking for the follow-up, it does go for the Swift, connecting with both members of the Magma. I can't say both ground types because Donphan, again, poison type, going for a Swift, takes Metang out of this matchup, leveling the playing field for the Viridian Magma. Mudsdale with the chance to put them in front, going with the ally switch instead. It is going to trade places with Donphan there on the field, as now out for the macros. It is Berserker, and Skarmory is going to go for the Dire Claw onto Mudsdale. Not very effective, still gets in some good damage thanks to that boosted attack. Berserker follows up with the X Scissor, also not very effective onto Donphan, still some good damage as Donphan responds by splashing about on the field, but nothing unfortunately is going to happen. Mudsdale needs to do its part, going with the Grass Pledge, which is heavily resisted there by Skarmory, allowing it to respond with the Double Edge, putting Donphan into knockout range. It does get some own recoil damage in the process, but this does lead to Donphan chowing down on its Citrus Berry, so it is going to restore its health. And it is going to respond with the super effective Blue Flare, but Skarmory hangs on. However, it's been left with that burn. This is going to cut into its physical attack, but it's going to do that passive damage. However, Skarmory chowing down on its own berry restores its health because it too was holding a Citrus Berry, and Berserker is going to respond with the play nice, telling Donphan to play nicer than hitting super effective moves, lowering its physical attack there. Mudsdale is going to go for the Forest's Curse on to Skarmory. You have to think Donphan might have eliminated it if it had already had that grass typing, as that burn starts to take effect on Skarmory. The light screen does wear off for the macros, and Skarmory is going to go for the Swagger onto Donphan. They're hoping it will take itself out in its confusion, as it does get that physical attack boost a great deal as well. It's here confused on the field, but first Berserker is going to follow it up with the Dragon Claw onto Mudsdale, putting Mudsdale into knockout range. Some massive damage there as Mudsdale is getting pumped as it chows down on its Lancet Berry. Donphan needs to shake off this confusion. It is successful. It's going to go for the Mega Punch, getting some good damage with that not very effective move thanks to that boosted attack. Mudsdale going with the Bolt Strike follow-up on to Berserker, and gets that critical play to take Berserker out of this matchup, and the Viridian Magma have just taken the lead. And there's that burn, still doing that damage to Skarmory, who did restore its health earlier with that Citrus Berry. It is now being joined by Klefki, who has that Prankster ability, so it will go first, going with the Rock Blast onto Donphan here. This multi-hit move could put Donphan into knockout range, and the third connection is successful in doing so, but that is the final connection from that Rock Blast. Skarmory following it up with the Mega Kick, opts to take out Mudsdale instead of Donphan, though, leveling the playing field for the macros. We are down to a 3 versus 3 contest. However, Donphan has snapped out of its confusion, and it responds with the Supercell Slam to take Skarmory out of this matchup. The grass typing actually preventing it from being super effective. It is going to be Orthworm coming out for the Ula macros. It's going to be Quagsire coming out for the Viridian Magma. Klefki with the Tickle, trying to lower those physical stats here of Quagsire on the field that are both base 85. Remember, it is a part water type as well, as Orthworm is going to go for that grassy terrain, so anybody on the field who is touching the ground, which would not have been Skarmory, they are going to have their health restored if they've taken damage, which Donphan desperately needs, as it goes with the super effective Burning Jealousy onto the 2 steel types. Quagsire looking to follow it up, goes with the Magma Storm onto Klefki here. Klefki hangs on by a thread, but it has become trapped by that swirling magma. It does have a berry though. It is going to boost its speed, but it won't be able to outspeed the Magma Storm. However, it does have its health restored thanks to that grassy terrain, but will it be enough to keep it in this matchup? Here's its moment of truth, and no, the Magma Storm is going to take Klefki out of this match. Earthworm is all by itself, but it is immune to ground type moves. It actually wants to be hit by those ground type moves with that Earth Eater ability. Again, a tickle onto Quagsire here, lowering those physical stats. But Donphan goes for the Sheer Cold, and it connects with the Ult Cold for the victory, and it takes Earthworm out of this match. Donphan hanging on through multiple chances to be eliminated. Some great teamwork there by Quagsire and Donphan to allow the Magma to run away with it in the later stages. And unbelievably, the Macros 3 games in have still not won a match, but next round they need to get their first ever victory over the Lentil Neros if they want to get a win. Whereas for the Magma, they will be going up against the Mahogany Explorers. But until then, Nidorinas, Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field, and if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe, but more importantly, always remember, you are awesome, and I'll see you when you see me.